He's watching you. Hello everybody, and welcome to the second installment of the Donkey Kong Marathon. This is Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, released in 1994. And so, because it has the exact same name as the original arcade version, a lot of us refer to it as Donkey Kong 94. Some people call it Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, or Game Boy Donkey Kong. But no, for all of us, we just call it Donkey Kong 94. So, well, of course, for this one, I'll just call it, yeah, let's wait for Donkey Kong 1994. So, anyway, so this game right here, well, as you can see, it is the Game Boy re-release, or the Game Boy version of the original Donkey Kong for the arcade. And so, as you can see here, it's, it's playing just like normal, like was in the original game. Just go to this construction site. We see that Donkey Kong has kidnapped Pauline here. Which, of course, they already gave them the official names by this point, though, because, Jumpman being Mario and Lady actually being named Pauline. So, yeah, just like before, we're just going through the construction sites. Again, that's just taking place here. And, we just gotta go up those ladders and of course, rescue her. Just jump over the barrels and all that. Like so. Although, as you can see here, I know I keep on saying that term a lot of times. You can see that Mario now has a lot of acrobatic feats right here that we just saw with him performing the backflips. So, let's go and climb those ladders here. And we can see how high we can get. Not me literally, though, because I don't have the Wii with me. Now, this here is a Pie Factory level that was actually in the arcade release, but not in the NES version, so at least we actually get to see that in action. Even though it's just on the Game Boy and not seeing, what it originally looked like on the arcade. But yeah, that was the missing Pie Factory level from the NES version. So there's that at least. So all you gotta do is just climb those ladders that will just retract and then extend again. And just, of course, jump over the pies as well. And then next up is, of course, the elevator level. Just gotta watch out for those bouncing jacks here. You can see that the levels here are a bit more compressed compared to the arcade version, where it's the stages are not quite as big though. But that's actually because just been on the Game Boy screen itself. And, just seeing this nice pixelated Game Boy mode that well, of course, once again, I'm playing this on the NSO, which I gotta say, I was really happy to see it re-release on the NSO. Because, well, I mean, I'll talk more about it later on, though, but, with the game being a lot of fun. Alright, and now we just had the final level going for it, though, so, yeah, we're getting this done pretty quick, because, it seems a little small, too, so, yeah. The same as you did before in the arcade releases, and, just like I did with the, when I did the Let's Play for the, on the NES version, just watch out for those fire snakes that are, very relentless. And there's also these extra lives you can collect as well, something that the arcade version didn't have. You also collect the accessories and all that to get some extra points on the score. And then, yeah, that's just about it right here. And let's get this last panel here, and then there we go. And then this final level is done, and then Donkey Kong's finally been defeated. And so we beat the game. Yeah, well, that was quick. Would you say that was a pretty short one? So thank you guys so much watching this. And wait. The hell? Oh, wait a sec. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Wow, okay. So, apparently, when we thought we just rescued Pauline and we beat the game, and Donkey Kong goes like, lol, nope, that didn't count. Oh, hey, I can see that Donkey Kong ass right there. Because, I can clearly see him just not exactly so much struggling in the door. I can just see him just, like, clearly twerking at Mario just to be a dick to him. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually, this only starts off as being like the original arcade, because afterwards, then Donkey Kong actually gets back up on his feet, and then it turns out there's actually more to it here. So, unlike the original arcade version, the Game Boy version actually is more expanded upon. So we actually just start with playing the game regularly. But then afterwards, then there's actually nope, our adventure is just beginning here. So, Donkey Kong 94 actually has way more levels this time around, and, just way more moves and all that stuff. And, it's more of an expanded re-release of the arcade version. And so, that's actually where, it gets more interesting because of it here. So, this is actually where the main game comes into play here. So, what we have here is that we have these little bite-sized stages, and the main objective is that you have to find the key that's supposed to be hidden around somewhere. And then you grab the key, very much like in Super Mario 2 USA, and then you just gotta take it over to the door, and then that's how you beat the stage. Now, whenever you collect all three of the accessories that are scattered around, you get this bonus level where if you, if you actually get lucky enough, you get some extra lives. And lo and behold, this game really does give you a lot of extra lives, to the point where it's impossible to actually get a game over in this one. And you'll be seeing a lot of it too, so... Anyway, so talk about with the whole moveset that Mario has now. So you can see that he has these nice little acrobatic feats here, which is actually something I think that was first introduced in this game though, because I know a lot of people recognize it more for in Super Mario 64, where his moves are a lot more acrobatic. But I think this is actually the first game where it introduces that, where Mario can now perform backflips, and he can also do some somersaults as well, and he can also do these handstands as well. So what you do is that if you actually just move forward or just tilt back on the control pad and then immediately jump, then Mario performs that backflip, and then if you press down on the control pad and then jump, then Mario will start doing this handstand, and then he gets some higher jumps as well. And then as soon as he lands on the ground, then you immediately tap A again to jump, and then Mario gets an even higher jump. So it's kind of like a triple jump for what it is here. And so it's really cool like that. And also, you can also do these front flips as well, like, those forward somersaults whenever do those handstands as well. And, of course, these enemies here, again, much like with Mario 2 USA, you can also pick them up and throw them. So, yeah, this, so basically this game kind of, like, combines the elements of the original Donkey Kong and also some elements of the Mario Brothers games, particularly with Super Mario 2 USA. Or, I guess you can say at the very least, originally Doki Doki Panic. But, ah, damn it, that was a cock tease. I was going to get that 3-up, but no, it just went for, like, just 1-up right here, so. So we have this first world called Big City, and there's going to be a lot more of those worlds here, so. But yeah, just like with the arcade, there's also the hammers you can pick up as well, so you can actually just pick those up, and then you're practically invincible against the enemies. But what you can also do is that if you actually, you can actually let go of the hammer. So basically, if you press B, you can actually just toss the hammer, and then once it comes back onto you, then you can actually be able to use the hammer again. So not like in the original Donkey Kong, where if you pick up the hammer, there's no way to actually remove it, but you can actually remove the hammer by pressing the B button, and then you can actually just pick it back up later afterwards. Now, once you're in the middle of the world itself, then you'll get a little bit of a mini boss fight against it. Well, not so much a boss per se, though. It's kind of like playing with the original Donkey Kong, where you just have to climb those ladders and get over to Pauline. So like during the middle of those, then Donkey Kong himself, he'll try to impede Mario's progress. For what he's doing is that he's actually just stomping on those girders, and then the impact will cause all these debris to start flying down, and you have to watch out for them because you don't want to get hit by them either. But of course, like before, if Mario gets hit by an enemy once, then he actually dies. Although thankfully, Mario can actually fall from a greater height and not exactly so much as die, but you don't want to fall down too much though. Also, I really do like how after each of the Donkey Kong boss stages, you get this little intermission where it actually shows you some new mechanics that this game has, and what you can do, basically like a tutorial that you can watch. But also, it's also entertaining at the same time. You actually get some comedic values where you can actually see DK kind of trolling Mario, but then once basically just trying to keep him away. But then once Mario actually finds out about these new moves here, then DK goes like, "Oh shit, he figured it out," and he tries to get away as well. So it's actually kind of funny the way the game actually really does show personality, and that's one thing I really do love about it. Is the whole personality of this game, and that it actually shows just seeing his expressions and all that. It's actually goofy at the same time. All right, so this new mechanic right here, this here is actually where if you collect these little arrow squares, you can actually create some platforms themselves. So if you actually see the arrows going horizontally, then you can actually create these horizontal platforms. If you see the arrows that go vertically, then that actually creates ladders instead. So it's basically like, just making some platforms, but you want to make sure to place them in the correct position, so that way there you can actually be able to get across in each of the levels, and that's all you gotta do. So, but yeah, I gotta say though, so let's see what else. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, these are the vertical platforms they have over here. So let's see. I'm gonna try to think here. So yeah, that's actually what the whole game entails, is that, each of the worlds here will just have their own kind of stages, and they're little miniature versions of stages, and there's going to be, like, quite a bit of puzzles that will require you to think outside the box, and, because the game challenges you with, your knowledge, and, just having to figure out where exactly you want to go, and you just have to figure out the correct positions and all that. And, it can be brain taxing at times, though, but it does feel satisfactory at the same time, though, with just figuring all this out. So that's just a matter, just think outside the box, and then figure out what you have to do. But that's always a good satisfaction of, you know, just having to get it done. So, you know, this game really does emphasize on puzzle solving. So, so you're going to make sure to just, you know, think about what you got to do. Later levels, I know they do tend to be frustrating, you know, particularly like in some certain worlds. So, you know, they, you know, it can be like, you know, it can show frustration at the same time. You'll probably see in a couple times there, or a couple instances. But these levels here, they really don't really take all that long here. You can actually get them done in just a few minutes, and then you can just move on to the next level. So that's basically all there is, though. You know, just that's all there is. Like, you know, get the key, and then just carry over to the locked door, and then there we go. So yeah, it's pretty short and pretty simple like that, though. But I gotta say though, it's also fun at the same time. And you know, I will say this though, I really do have a lot of fun with it. No, now. Well, I actually do want to tell you a bit of a story, you know, a bit of history, you know, with my experiences with this game, though, but it might be a little short on time, though, so, I mean, I'll probably talk about it in the next episode, you know, with my whole experience with this game itself. But I will say, though, that, you know, like I said, I'm also playing this on the NSO, on the Switch, too, and I got this, the screen resolution, you know, as a whole Game Boy pixelated screen, just to show the Game Boy feel, and it feels great because of it, though. And I gotta say, when I saw it got announced and released for the on the NSO, I was so happy about it because, you know, because I had fun times with this game as well, and I was actually really excited. I was like screaming for joy when they released this game on the NSO. I was like, oh shit, yes! So that's actually what led me to actually just, you know, doing this Let's Play here. All right, so at the end of each world, of course, we have a boss fight against DK himself. So. For this one, he's going to toss out these barrels, and so all you got to do is just pick up the barrels and then just toss barrels at him. And that's all you got to do. Just as long as they don't go colliding against the barrels themselves, but, you know, just make sure to toss them at DK himself, and then that's all there is. And also, as you can see here, yeah, this whole coloration is all red here. That's because this is actually what the game looks like if you're playing this on the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance with its backwards compatibility, because, you know, it's all red like that here. I love those expressions. It's funny as hell. But yeah, there's those options like, you know, either the monochrome or the puke green screen like the original Game Boy. But you know, the NSO actually does have the option where you actually change those, and so I'm actually changing it to the to all the reds here because that's, like I said, that's what it looked like in the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance. But if you're playing this on the Super Game Boy, which is actually this is the first game to utilize that, with the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo, they can actually see more colorations and all that. That actually looks pretty cool. Also the arcade cabinet skin too, so that's nice. So anyway, so Big City is done, and now we're on to the next level, World 2 Forest. So next time on Let's Play Donkey Kong 1994, we're going to be doing the whole forest world, and I'll probably just be doing one video for each of the worlds to just go through all the stages, and so there'll be more talking about, of course. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.